Hey everybody, welcome to this video. We're going to be diving into a topic that is relevant to anyone who is beginning in Tableau or maybe even experienced in Tableau, but just starting to really put their visuals out there to business users or stakeholders, anybody who's going to be digesting the stuff that you are building in Tableau. So what we're covering in the topic here is how to minimize some distractions that if you were to just build things in the normal workflow, you might not even think about. And that I have found over the years to be really valuable low-hanging fruit to address. So let's dive in. Let's hit the sample superstore dataset. This is built in with Tableau, so everyone has access to this. And we are going to take subcategory to rows. We are going to give an x-axis of our sales per subcategory. And let's already sort this in descending order. So we have a chart here that's something we could imagine putting into a dashboard, something where we're saying, hey, here's how much revenue we have for this dimension. It's a believable scenario. And this is going to be our little prop for addressing some things we can really easily improve. So for starters, let's just look at this left-hand pane over here, because there's quite a bit going on. First of all, the way the text is aligned, to me, this is a bit less organized than it could be, because you typically read left to right. And in this case, we have all of the text being aligned to where the bar begins, and then it's going to have a different ending point going out to the left. So one thing I would recommend is to format this to where you align from the left. And then as needed, if you need to extend this, you can. This is just a bit more clean, in my opinion. And another thing we can do to clean this up is up here where we see subcategory and it's kind of cut off. Well, if our entire visual is about, like everything in this worksheet is about showing sales per subcategory, then we don't need to show subcategory being the kind of name of what you're seeing here, because we can add that as part of the title of the sheet. So if we call this sales by subcategory, then anytime that we bring this view into a dashboard, anytime we bring this worksheet into a dashboard, it's going to bring that title with it. And if you were to have a title at the same time that you had those field labels saying, hey, here's the subcategory, you would just have this kind of distracting element of your visual where you have the title saying, this is the sales by subcategory, and then you would see subcategory listed here again. Now that's cleaned up. Let's take a look at something that a lot of people might not even notice because it's very faint in this visual. Just to kind of exaggerate the issue, let's actually go into our lines that appear. So we can format these lines and let's see what lines exist in the visual right now. So we have some axis ticks. Let's go ahead and make these really dark because they were kind of grayed out before. You have axis rulers. If we have 0 lines, let's go ahead and make those really clear. Then coming over to columns, we have some grid lines for sure. So let's just stop here and address what's going on. So what we've done now is we've exaggerated some of the elements of the chart that were already present, but in a kind of grayed out way. And I'm going to submit the opinion that this is all just distraction. For 99% of the visuals you're ever going to make, these are distracting elements. Everybody at the beginning, when they start visualizing data, tends to think, oh, of course I need these tick marks here. These tick marks are great. All these grid lines are great. But realistically, as you move your visuals into dashboards, you're not really going to need those tick marks. The way these visuals are going to be representing the data, you really probably don't need the tick marks. The length of the bars is going to speak for themselves. The labels down here on the x-axis are going to speak for themselves. And typically, as you design these data visualizations, they'll be working in conjunction with other visuals. They're not going to be the only thing present in your dashboard. So what benefit we get from this really big version of the visual in seeing any of these grid lines, as we compact the visual and it's sharing space with, you know, 4 other visuals in a dashboard, it's really going to become more cluttered and distracting than it is beneficial. So let's go ahead and remove the grid lines. Let's also remove the 0 lines. Let's get rid of axis tick marks and axis rulers. And we can do this for the sheet as well as a whole. Let's say none, none, and then for our rows, we also put none. Now what we're left with is a cleaner representation of the data. This is something where we've tossed out all of the distracting kind of filler things that we had going on. It's very clean, it's very clear, and this is something that would be perfectly primed to share real estate in a dashboard with other visuals. So that's it for today. We'll be back with some more tips in future videos. Hope this helped somebody out there.